Early voting begins today in Texas, the first state to hold primaries for this year midterm elections. It also is the first election cycle under Texas's controversial new voting law, which bans drive-thru and 24-hour voting and makes it a felony for election officials to send mail-in ballot applications to voters who haven't requested them, but also expands early voting hours. Republicans say it makes the state's elections more secure. Democrats, voting rights activists say it makes it more difficult for minority voters to cast their ballots. Steve Campion from our Houston station, KTRK, joins me now live from an early voting site. Steve, thanks for being here. What do you see happening at that polling site, at that voting site, and is this new law having any impact?
Good morning, Phil. This is definitely a new landscape for voters here in Texas, here in Harris County, one of the biggest counties here in the Lone Star State. The last go around, they had early voting via drive-thru voting. This time around, that's not going to happen because of that state law, and voters are simply going to have to adapt to those changes. We've reported here in Houston an uptick in ballots, mail-in ballots being rejected because of errors on those ballots. At that point, election officials have to reach back out to voters, make sure that they are able to correct those mistakes before they can actually accept those ballots. So we are seeing some issues because of the changes that we saw in Austin.
And then let's get to the ballot. There are a lot of big issues on the ballot this year, including immigration, abortion rights. What do you think, or what do you see as the top issue driving voters to the polls there in Texas right now?
Well, surprisingly, when you talk to political experts, they actually think Republicans have the energy here in Texas because of growing discontent in Washington and what President Biden has been doing. That is compared to the last go-around for the governor's race, where people are really upset with former President Donald Trump, and the Democrats had the energy there. So political experts say that this is the Republicans' race, that there might be a so-called red wave here in Texas. Of course, Democrats are trying to fight back, trying to rally their base by Beto O'Rourke's run for the governorship. He's obviously trying to secure the nomination and run against the incumbent here, Governor Greg Abbott.
It's sort of typical what happens in midterms as well when one party is in power. Texas's new congressional map has also been a point of controversy as well. The Department of Justice has filed a lawsuit arguing that it was drawn to intentionally limit the representation of people of color. How could that affect who represents that state in Washington?
Well, Phil, this simply changes the map. So because of the census, there are more congressional seats here in the state of Texas. So when you talk to the political experts, they say that if this was 2020, there would be actually 25 congressional districts that would have voted for former President Donald Trump compared to 22. So you're basically talking about more Republican support, more Republican votes for the Republicans there in Congress.
All right, Steve Campion from KTRK in Houston, we thank you for taking the time.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.